I am so excited. I'm excited to talk to you about CB Curated, which some of you may already know as three-phase marketing approach. But before we jump into the program, let's quickly talk about the why behind the name. So a curator, as you know, is someone trusted with something valuable. They bring expertise, judgment, and responsibility to its care. And we love that idea for the role that our Coldwell Banker Realty agents play in helping someone make decisions around what is often their most valuable financial asset, which is their home. At its core, CB Curated is about giving sellers and their agents choice, more choice in how a home comes to market. And that matters because not every seller is in the same situation, and so not every home should be marketed the exact same way. And for a long time, a really long time, the default path has always been pretty linear, right? Sign the listing, get everything ready, go live in the MLS, and let the market react. And listen, public exposure is incredibly powerful. In fact, 94% of homes ultimately leverage that public stage to sell. But what we want to do is get there with more intelligence, more preparation, and more strategy. Because once a property goes public, every signal starts shaping perception. Let's say a clock starts, right? Days on market begins to build, price adjustments begin to come visible, buyers start to wonder what's wrong with the house, even when there's nothing wrong with the house. And over time, those signals can weaken seller leverage. We lovingly call this digital baggage. And that's the real shift with CB Curated. The strongest agents today are not just asking, when do we go live? They're asking, how do we test price? How do we build demand early? And how do we help this seller enter the market from a position of strength? We want that conversation happening at every listing appointment. I also want to be really clear. This is not about hiding listings. It is about helping our agents guide sellers with more intelligence, more optionality, and more confidence. So let's start with private exclusives. A private exclusive gives a seller a controlled way to begin before they're fully ready for the public market. And I also want to address that there's been a long-standing sentiment that private exclusives are for celebrities or ultra luxury listings. That's not the case. It's so much more. Maybe it's for someone that's just not ready for open houses. Maybe this seller is still working through pricing, staging, photography, timing, or just personal circumstances. This gives them a way to test demand and gather early insight without immediately creating public price history or days on market. It also lets you test crazy pricing. It gives our agents a way to unlock inventory earlier and start the conversation with more flexibility. It also gives them speed to marketing the second a listing agreement is signed. With this choice or coming soon, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, it's a great time to introduce our new program, Market Ready Concierge. All right, let's get into coming soons. Coming soons gives us another powerful step. It's modeled after movie premieres and brand launches, and it helps build awareness and capture buyer interest before the full public launch. And I love the line, coming soon's not a delay, it's a head start, because that's exactly the mindset we want to adopt. It lets the agent learn earlier. It helps refine the strategy, and it enters the public market with more confidence. This option also activates their listing getting introduced through Redfin, reaching more than 50 million monthly visitors before the property is fully public. And finally, public exposure remains the moment where we activate broad visibility, full MLS exposure, syndication, and the power of the global Coldwell Banker Realty marketing engine. For sellers who are ready for maximum visibility, the property can launch publicly with the power of full market exposure. And for sellers who need preparation or support, Listing Concierge also ensures the home and the marketing are fully optimized from the start. Coldwell Banker Realty has a huge advantage with CB Curated. We're not simply offering an off-market option. We're giving sellers a smarter path to market backed by a national brand, strong marketing, and an advisor who can guide them every step of every decision. Our job on the marketing and sales team is to help our network understand this clearly and confidently, because the more fluent they are in the why, the stronger their seller conversations are going to be. So as we introduce CB Curated, let's keep the message really simple. Choice, control, confidence, a smarter launch strategy, a better seller conversation, and a stronger way for our agents to ultimately show their value. Thank you in advance for bringing this to life. I am so excited for the launch of CB Curated.